And welcome everyone to another Dark Hours Radio podcast. I'm Stephen Roberts, the producer and host, and well, I guess I'm kind of the host, but I want to welcome the host, Tressa Graves. Welcome,
Thank
Tressa.
you, Stephen.
How are you tonight on this 4th of July?
I'm doing good. We're going to go out and watch the fireworks.
Yeah.
And now you know you're the star of the show, though, right?
Yeah, of course I am.
If it wasn't for Stephen, there wouldn't be any show.
So what's on
Now,
the...
I figured what better night than the 4th of July to launch a new Dark Hours, get on here. I've had a few people asking me stuff about my books and everything, so I figured I'd just come on the Dark Hours and talk about it a little bit. I haven't even told you, Stephen, over the past couple weeks, things have been taking off. Responses on Goodreads, Amazon, I'm on MySpace. I've got more social media now than I did before, Stephen.
You're
we
on
were going through everything before.
You're on MySpace?
I'm on MySpace.
Oh, I can just imagine your phone just goes ding, 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 ding all day long, doesn't it?
I took off all the notifications.
Oh, no.
If I didn't, it would go off constantly.
Yeah.
A few times. You've heard it.
I have.
Whenever...
Bing, bong, ding, bing, boing, ding, bing.
And then if I turn it off at night and turn it on in the morning, it's literally 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Constantly went off. You know, I have to wait. So I turned it all off. And it kind of sucks because so many people come in and they try to talk to me. They try to send instant messaging. They try to talk to me on all the social media pages. And I can't go in and talk to everyone, which is unfortunate, but it's not because I don't want to. It's because if I sit there and talk to everyone, I won't have time to do anything else. And I'm trying to get this Stalking Monster Hidden Evil done. And that one is creepy. The stuff coming out in that one is pretty sick. Because I had the Stalking Monster. The first one was the prequel. And I'm doing 8 parts, and I'm doing 8 parts for a reason, so hopefully that's all going to work out for me. But I've had a lot of people come in and ask me, they even asked me publicly on some of my social media about the Stalking Monster. Is it based off my stalking case? And all I say to that, and I've got my notes here so I can look at it, stuff people have asked, and all I can say to that is it's inspired by actual events. It is a fictitious story, this one. So, but it's inspired by actual events, and that one is going to be an 8-part series. That one is a graphic novel.
Fictitious.
They're really short stories.
Fictitious. Wink, wink.
Fictitious, wink, wink, and more come out on that. And I have so many people coming in and saying, Tressa, we know this is the story based off your stalking. And I say, no, that book hasn't come out yet. So this one is fictitious. If you go on the Stalking Monster page on Facebook, it is put up there as a fictitious character. So that's all I can say about that one. But the second part is even creepier than the first part. The first part is kind of, I had someone read the book, and they described it as a dream in a dream in a dream. So
yeah.
It's kind of
a bad dream. A bad dream inside of a bad dream inside of a nightmare.
Basically, yes. It's a little confusing, but that's because Rod Hunter, the main character in this, him and his wife Kathy, they're 2 deranged individuals. They are into all kinds of sick things. They do drugs. And whenever you're a sociopath, which is what these 2 are, if you look up sociopath, maybe that'll make a little bit more sense of the character. And the characters, I'll say again, are inspired by actual events. But that one has been my best-selling. I've got more reviews on that. There was a problem because over on Amazon, I actually have my author page, and I had up reviews on the Sawgrass Footpath, which I'll go to that one now. But unfortunately, I've got more reviews on the Stalking Monster, because on the Sawgrass Footpath, Amazon had to go in and take down a lot of stuff. And when they did, unfortunately, I lost a lot of my good reviews that were up on there. So there's only one book review up there now, which really sucks, because there was some pretty vile and vulgar and outright harassment on me in a page made under Sam. And so Amazon is nice enough. They're not going to put up with that over there, neither is Goodreads. I just had a page closed down a couple days ago on Goodreads. It was under Sam's name again. And the only story that this person decided to attack me on was the Stalking Monster. So I don't know. So, but the Sawgrass Footpath, that was the one that I went out on my Bohemian book tour. I was going to Dick's Last Resort. I had Bud Light going out with me, and that one was my #1 bestseller at the time. But now that the Stalking Monster's out, everyone's attention is turned to that one, I guess because it's inspired by actual events and stuff. But let me go here to the Sawgrass Footpath. Got my notes here and everything. So, and Sam didn't do a really good job when I asked him to do my notes. But the Sawgrass Footpath, that one is horror, but it's also inspired by actual events that took place in Florida, which I had said before. It was whenever all the tourists were going down to Florida. I don't even remember what year now. I've been through a lot over the past 2.5 years. I've forgotten a lot of the stuff with the Sawgrass, but it was about tourists that were going down to Florida and ending up murdered at like rest areas and stuff. So I took that, turned it into inspired by actual events, and put what I thought in my head would happen with this. And if you look at the cover of the Sawgrass Footpath, Billy did an excellent job, because the name, the Sawgrass Footpath, is actually written in license plates. And that's pretty cool, because the people who were murdered are tourists that are coming from out of town. So that was a pretty good thing that Philly added to the cover on that. So that's why it's the Sawgrass Footpath, and it's done with license plates. So that's pretty cool. And I was thinking the other day about all my different stories and doing this show and stuff, and there was a song out in the 80s. I don't know if you know this or not, Stephen. You know who Pat Benatar is, right?
Yes, I do, yeah.
All right. Have you ever heard the song Invincible?
No, I don't think I know that one.
If you heard it, you'd probably know what it is. But that song, Invincible, when that came out, I was so attracted to it. I think they used it in The Legend of Billie Jean when that movie came out in the 80s. So when I heard that song, it says, this bloody road remains a mystery. Sudden darkness fills the air, and just all of the things that she's saying in the song, that at the time helped me write the Sawgrass Footpath. And I had never told that story before, so I figured it was kind of cool to mention that now. But yeah, Pat Benatar had a little helping hand in that as well, because that song just, I loved it. It was dark, is why. So.
Yeah, the thing I remember about Pat Benatar was just having a crush on her, so I don't remember too much about the music.
I'll have to send you the link, and I think once you hear it, you'll remember maybe hearing the song or whatever. It was a really big song in the 80s.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll send it to you. And I think I sent you the link to a song that Imagine Dragons sing called Monster. Did you get that, or?
I don't know.
Oh, God. I'm going to send it to you again. And I want you to listen to it. I've been posting it all over the place, and it's about this man who openly claims he's a monster and he's never fit in life. And just saying all that, this man called himself a monster in the song, it's the Stalking Monster. So I was kind of in awe when I heard that, because I've been on this Imagine Dragons kick for a while now. I got introduced to them and can't stop playing them now. So, but we'll move on. I got the Blackwater of Cassadaga. This one's really cool because when I sit and start thinking about where these ideas come from, I'm like, whoa, I was thinking that whenever I wrote the story. So see, those of you who think I'm smoking weed or drinking beer all the time, no, it's not true, or wine. I actually have a fish.
I thought it was crack.
Oh yeah, crack. I wouldn't have any teeth if I was doing that much crack. So,
no, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't have that. So I don't think my skin. It's really sad because we were in. I think it might have been Walmart, and there was this woman in Walmart with her mom, and they were acting crazy. They had sores all over their face, and you just know that it's from drug use, and it's just sad to think that someone destroys themselves for...
Well, you know, a lot of people do these things to try to drown out their sorrows, and it it just doesn't work, you know, whether it's alcohol or some sort of a drug. There isn't enough of the addictive substance to drown out your sorrows.
Nope. And I know that firsthand because when my stalking first started, I was in pretty bad shape. That's why I ended up getting counseling. So I know what these people are thinking of why they do it and stuff, because I'm not shy about telling people a little bit about what was going on. I was hospitalized. I was put on Valium. I was drinking. I was taking sleeping pills. I was not in a good spot. I was in my house. I had my windows boarded up. I had my gun by me, and it was a really dark and bad time. You know that, Stephen, because you were with me. So I kind of understand why people go to that, but it's not the solution to do problems, and once I got into counseling, that really helped me a lot. I think if I hadn't gotten counseling, it would have gotten a lot worse, and maybe other things happening, but that all come out in the true story novel, my first nonfiction, hopefully I can't really say, I don't know, so we'll just have to wait and see what's going on with that.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to the Blackwater of Cassadaga. This is the one that Stephen read, the audiobook, and this one's just sitting out there, Stephen. I'm not getting any.
I had fun with that.
It was a fun story, and you did an excellent job. Stephen reads the audiobook, and I mean, it's just an excellent story. It's a short story, and this one is based off... I grew up in Tampa, and there's a place called Spook Hill in Florida. So if you guys have never heard of it, you go Google Spook Hill, and you can read up on that. But in the back of my mind, not thinking of where this story originated from, it came from that legend on Spook Hill where an Indian chief and an alligator got into this little scuffle going on. You guys can Google it and look it up and find out more about it. But I guess Blackwater of Cassadaga all came from me visiting Spook Hill so much whenever I lived in Florida. So it's pretty cool because that's a little bit of Florida put into this book. So that's a pretty awesome story. And like I said, you guys go Google Spook Hill and check it out. And after you read the legend of that, you check out Blackwater of Cassadaga, and it's got the Indian, we've got Osceola in it, we've got the alligator, I added a witch in mine, which that's not in the original story, but I upped it a little bit, and I put in 50 Shades of Braves, where kids are showing up, they end up being killed for no reason at all, and they get to pick their color that they want on their tombstone because it's a urban legend that kids are dying, so it's kind of morbid because they pick out their own tombstone before they die and they're young teenagers. So how sick is that?
Yeah.
To sit there and think about dying when you're 14, 15, 16 years old.
I'm kind of waiting on you to send me another one. Tell me to do another book.
I know. The only thing I've been working on is a little secret project that we can't announce yet. You know what it is. I finished that the other night. And part two of the Stalking Monster Hidden Evil. So everything's been focused around the Stalking Monster. I've got hopefully some big things coming up with that. I talked to my connection tonight, and I'm really excited. So you guys really should be following that Stalking Monster thing, because that's pretty morbid. The story's going to go on for 8 more. 8 more short stories are going to be coming out on that.
Right.
Um,
Right.
in the Stalking Monster Hidden Evil, we go back to before Rod Hunter was born. We go back to his grandparents, how sickness runs in this family, and and Rod Hunter is born to a woman who is a crack whore. Go figure that one.
Well, they didn't have crack way back then, though. Must have been
Oh, you
something
don't
else,
think
wasn't it?
so?
Nah, crack only came out in the early 80s, late 70s.
I have to Google it to make sure. And because I want to make sure I get everything right in the story, because the story actually starts back in 1966.
Yeah. But they did have they had meth back then, and they had LSD.
So let's
Trying to
see.
think of something, angel dust. I don't know, just all kinds of stuff. Cocaine.
Yeah. Not like Flacca, that they've got a problem down in Florida. I don't know if you've seen Flacca, but those people are like zombies. I've seen cops, 3 cops tasing one guy, and he's like getting up and going after the cops. They get hit by cars, they stand up, and
I never
this
heard of
is
that
like a
one.
video game.
I never heard of that one. I've seen some of the videos on the people what they call Molly, I think, and some of the other things, and heard about the condoms and the Tide Pods, and
Yeah. I've been hungry, but not hungry enough to eat a Tide Pod. So if I want to do something stupid, I'll find something different to do. So, okay, so we'll go on and we'll talk about Lady in the Backyard. That was the one that Russ McCamey, I gave it to him and he listened to it. And I love his review because he did a review on camera and he was like, what? What happened? And he said it just took him down twists and turns he wasn't expecting. And that's what Philly says a lot of my writing does. You don't expect what's going to happen. You think something's going to happen and it'll turn and go the opposite way. So the Lady in the Backyard is really fun. And the only thing I really want to say about that one is I read that one when I was in Florida. That story is probably 20 years old, at least 20 years old, and just now getting it out for the public to be able to listen to. But Justin Ottemacher, Philly's son, actually read for the story, so I've got it on audiobook so people can go check that out. But the cool thing about this is you know Sharknado, right?
I know
The
it.
show.
No, I don't know what that is really.
Well, it's a sci-fi show where they have sharks and tornadoes that come out and eat people.
Huh?
It's a very popular show. It's been on for a very long time. I don't have cable. If I had cable, I'd never get any writing done. So we just don't even have TV in the house. You know, we do gaming and watch movies and stuff like that, but I don't have cable. But it's on Sci-Fi Channel, and
Okay.
I've seen previews of some of it. But the reason I bring that up is because I was throwing witches in tornadoes before Sharknado. So I think that's pretty cool because my witch, old lady Martin, she comes up in the backyard in a tornado coming towards the house. So that was pretty cool. So I was doing that way before Sharknado. So if someone comes in and goes, "Oh, you copied it," no, this was done 20, maybe longer, at least 20 years ago. Though I wrote "Lady in the Backyard." So there's a little bit of something for everyone in what I write. I'm getting tongue-tied here. And then I've got another story that I did. This one I only charged 50 cents. This might be one you can read, Stephen. I haven't done an audiobook for this one yet, so maybe this is something I can send over to you. Dream Friend.
Dream Friend, yeah.
Dream Friend. Do you remember that?
I don't think so.
All right, Philly did a little book trailer for me on that one. This one is about a little girl who is bullied in elementary school. I have to sit here and read my notes because I can't remember everything. And now I have to wet my throat. Hold on a second. And yes, I'm drinking a Voodoo Ranger. It's the 4th of July, so I'm enjoying the Voodoo Ranger. But it's about a little girl who's bullied in school, which goes back to me when I was growing up. I had the bright red hair, I had the big buck teeth, and kids were brutal. Back when it wasn't cool, I was listening to country music. I was a big Dolly Parton fan, so I wasn't shy about letting that know. So I was the oddball in school, so I had a lot of kids that would bully me. I had a few friends, and I'm still friends with them now. We still talk, but it takes place in Tampa. And the school I went to was Robles Elementary. So anyone that's familiar with the area, it's not far from King High School, actually. But that's basically where this story takes place at. And the original name for that was High School Horror. And I can't say horror. People have come up to me and say, "What kind of books do you write?" I say horror books. And they say, "Excuse me?" I think I'm saying horror books. So I go, horror. I have to put an effort into that. Horror. So it was originally called High School Horror, and I changed it. So that one is Dream Friend. And this is about a little girl that goes and gets revenge. There's a friend that lives in her closet. And it's kind of creepy because she communicates with this friend with a crayon on the side of her nightstand. She doesn't tell anyone about this, her parents or anything. No one knows about it. So she communicates with this person with her little crayon and a piece of paper. And finally, Dream Friend comes out and introduces himself to this little girl. And I think her name's Christine. And I've told you this before, I have a hard time remembering all my characters
right,
in my books because I do so many different characters. So I think her name is Christine. Don't hold me to that. But that one's creepy. And that one's up right now for 50 cents. And if Stephen decides to do an audiobook on that, we'll put it up. It's really short. I think it's only like 20 pages or something, so it's a really short story, but it's got a lot of good stuff in it. I would compare it a little bit to Stephen King's Carrie. It's about the girl that goes in and gets revenge, although I will tell you, when I wrote this, that was not in the back of my mind, Stephen King's Carrie. Like I said, it was based on I think I have a scene in it. There was this girl in school, in elementary school, and she was just like the pretty girl in school, and I was the ugly nerd in school that never thought would ever get a boyfriend or anything, just gruesome, probably the ugliest kid in school the way I looked, okay? And there was this girl in one of my classes, and everyone loved her. She was just the popular girl, and I used to always have this fantasy of getting some hairspray and putting a lighter in front of it and spraying her hair or something, you know?
Oh, no, and that's terrible.
Even when I was little, I was having thoughts like this, you know? It's me getting out, doing what a writer does. You know, thinking of different things, and I think I actually put that in the book.
Yeah.
So Stephen's like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
It's not so much that is that we do have about 25 minutes already.
Oh, cool. All right. And I have gone through every story that's out right now, so that worked out perfect.
Yeah.
So everyone, go out, have a happy 4th of July. I'm going to sit here and celebrate with Voodoo Ranger. Stephen was like, what is that? It's an Indian Pale Ale. I told him Indian Pale something, and he had to fill in the ale. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So if
fireworks.
you guys ever try it.
And fireworks at dark.
Yes, so I'll take some pictures and post all that too. But thank you, Stephen. Love you to death, and I'll send you over that story later and that song I was talking about, Monster.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure you'll post pictures, and about a zillion other people will too. So.
I know.
And videos.
I know.
And videos.
All right. Well, thanks again, Stephen.
All right. Have a good night over there.
You too. Thanks.
Good night.